all about how they're sharing those stories about African American history and how it has a positive impact in the classroom. Our Gaston Middle School principal, Felicia Quarles Treadwell, and she's called Mrs. QT, right, by the kids? Right. Mrs. QT. And we have the vice principal and Black Student Union advisor, Lisa Nichols. Welcome, both of you. I think this is so great what you guys are doing all year long, right, Mrs. QT?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, let's talk about that. All year long, you're teaching these kids how important it is, right, to learn about other people's cultures.
Absolutely. So even for me, sitting in the audience at our assembly, I learned a new concept that I didn't know about Black history, something that Harriet Tubman, the reason why they went through the water and waded through the water. So it's important that not just the students, but the adults, and then we celebrate it in chances like this to let everyone know in our country that our culture is important.
Yeah.
It's what makes us who we are, and we have to learn about it.
Yeah, and you learn something new every time, I'm sure. What did you learn? Tell us more about what...
That when the dogs were after the slaves, Harriet taught them to go through the water so that the scent wasn't available, and so wade in the water is where that song comes from.
Oh my goodness. And what were the kids' response to all of this, Lisa? How did you see them afterwards react?
They were, like Ms. QT said, we didn't know about that. And even our student performers, we had to sit with them prior to this program. We started back in September practicing with them, and so we had to actually sit down with them and do a history lesson, because this is information you don't see in our history books. And so for everyone, like Ms. QT said, it was adults, even little kids that were learning something new that day.
Wow, and we're taking a look at some of the video of the performances.
Yes.
Were they just so inspired by themselves?
They were inspired by themselves. Our student performers were proud to be on stage and proud just of their culture, proud to be able to educate their peers, which goes a long ways, because sometimes as adults they do listen, but they really listen to their peers. And so there was 218 students in this production.
Wow.
And again, we started back in September practicing with them. It's a school collaboration. There's other clubs involved. There's teachers and staff, community that gets involved. It's just amazing.
Wow. And how did you find that the students reacted when you first told them that they were going to have to do this? Did they know anything about, you know, Black history?
Well, fortunately, we are in our 5th year at Rutherford B. Gaston Senior Middle School. So we're becoming quite known for our celebrations and for uplifting our cultures and the cultures that we have in our school, and with the support of Fresno Unified School District and for inspiring educators like Ms. Nichols, the students came and are ready. We're recruiting already. Our students are excited to perform. This is about reading. This is about math and timelines. This is arts. Our band, our choir, our speech and debate forensics, our art, everyone throughout. It's like almost a project-based learning opportunity to not only learn, but celebrate and perform and give back to our community.
Now, did you feel, though, Lisa, that you had a responsibility to do this, even more so than other schools, because you are a predominantly African-American school there in the area of Martin Luther King, right?
Right. I feel it was responsibility, but based on what I had to, just as a child, not knowing my history and self-identity issues growing up, and not knowing what type of African-American leaders were out there, just being able to identify what key leaders. And I just thought, when I came to Gaston, I asked Ms. QT, can we, you know, focus on this? Can we make sure that our children are proud of who they are, that they know their history, regardless of what ethnicity they are? And so this is kind of how it just grew. It's just like, we are going to make sure that our students know their culture, be proud of who they are, and because again, it's not taught, not everything's taught in our history books.
Yes, or at home.
Or at home sometimes, right.
And I like how you took it out of the classroom and made it something other than just flipping through a textbook. Right? You're doing it and you're educating them by teaching them dance and teaching them how to perform. There's something to be said about that, right? Do you find that they are more involved when it comes like that?
Oh, absolutely. And we're preparing. This is about your career. This is the future. This is about being on time, commitments.
Oh, even things like that.
Oh, their practices.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
3 or 4 times a week.
How do you practice or teach them how important it is to be on time to things.
So they're very aware. We give them reminders. There's morning announcements about it, and they showed they knew. And practice would be from 3 to 4:30, sometimes 5 o'clock in the evening. But what was the neat thing about it? It's a safe place. It's after school hours where those are the times where kids can be. They're involved in things that may not be appropriate. And so this
in
was
every school.
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
So this was an opportunity for kids to be safe. But I also talked about the building relationships among each other. And if they had conflict with other students, we bonded and we talked about those things. So there's so many benefits to this.
Yeah.
We can go on and on.
Yeah, and so I'm so glad you're doing it year round.
Yes.
Right, Ms. QT?
That's right, yes. So specifically for this month, and at Gaston Middle School, we celebrate all of our cultures.
Yeah. Yes.
We celebrate our country for sure, and patriotism, and middle school students, 12, 13, they're learning themselves. They have a hard time finding themselves, and so culture can also be difficult. I'm half black, half Mexican, and for me to celebrate both my Latina culture and my African American culture, it's a beautiful thing for me. I've experienced it, and it's important for all of us educators at Gaston Middle School that we give that back to our students and give them the opportunity to uplift who they are.
Yeah, they really need such strong role models now. It is such an awkward age, middle school, isn't it? So I'm so happy that you all are doing what you're doing and just teaching them valuable life lessons, the kids at Gaston. Now you need to go to every single school, right, and do the same thing. Can you do that?
Well, so what we encourage, and that's the reason why we invite other community partners or other schools to come out, so they can take some ideas and go back to their school and encourage their students to get involved in the same way. They don't have to do it such on a big level, but to be able to be inspired to say, we're going to do something this month to teach our students about culture.
All right. Well, you guys are leading the way. We appreciate it.
And
Thank
it can
you so
be
much.
replicated.
Yes, it can. You guys don't mind,
we
right?
don't mind sharing.
You don't mind
Not
sharing.
at all.
You don't mind copycatters. I love it. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank
Coming
you.
up in our daily dose of medical news, parents, what you need to know about your teens and their sleep patterns. What their routine could tell you about their health. That's coming up next.
At Les Schwab Tires, save up to $200 on a set of 4 Toyo tires, including the Open Country.